Hello beautiful souls, welcome to a place where faith meets reality and Jesus is always at the center. My name is Naomi and here we share real life testimonies, godly wisdom and encouragement to help you grow in truth and in grace. And so, if you're here for the real talk, purpose-filled living and Jesus Christ of course, then you are in the right place. You are right where you belong. Welcome to Dilemma series number 2, and again we are going to dive into relationship of the dilemmas that people do not talk about out loud, issues that Christians may face that they don't really speak about out loud. Okay, so if you're new to this dilemma, if this is your first time watching these videos, welcome. And I did the last video talking about religion, dealing with someone that is from a different religious background and someone who's an atheist as well. So if you haven't watched that video, please do check that video out. Okay, and it's for anyone that feels confused, they feel conflicted by the relationship, they feel torn apart. I'll also be doing other dilemmas related to other topics outside of relationships as well, so stay tuned to that. But today's video, I will have again 2 dilemmas that I'm going to share for you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into this video and I hope you guys will enjoy. The first English has already left my mouth already, Jesus. The first dilemma, it is, he says he's a Christian, but nothing in his life reflects it. Oof. Janelle met Chris at a church socials. He was funny, charming, and knew all the right Christian lingo. He said he believed in God, quoted a few scriptures and even mentioned being baptized when he was younger. To Janelle, it felt like a blessing. Finally, someone who checked all the Christian boxes. Then they started dating and soon things fell off. Chris rarely prayed unless she asked him to. He didn't like going to church, called it boring, and avoided talking about spiritual growth. When Janelle would try to discuss purpose, purity, or God's voice, he'd shrug and say, "Not everything is that deep." Oh, hell no. Oh, objection. Absolutely no. If someone, oh, hi. Mawa. Christian, wow. Worse. Krish. Oh, what is happening to me today? What is honestly happening to me today? What is happening to me today? Like, what's going on? Where's my English going? Worse. Chris pressured her to compromise sexually. Oh, this is too close to home, mate. This is too close to home. This is too close to home, actually. God understands we're in love, he reasoned. We're not perfect. Janelle felt conflicted. Part of her felt she was overreacting, but another part, the deeper spiritual part, felt grieved. Eventually she asked, "Do you really believe Jesus is Lord?" Chris answered, "Yeah, I mean, I believe in God. I don't think we need to be extreme about it though." Janelle was left wondering, is he a Christian or just wearing the label? Oof. What is my advice in regards to this? One thing I would definitely say is that this hits home for me, boo-boo, because I've spoken about this before when I was in a relationship with someone that was a Christian or claimed to be a Christian. And I do this because honestly I don't know the situation. I don't know whether he's a struggling Christian. It's one thing to try and like do better, it's another thing to just accept that, yeah, we're not perfect, we're all sinners, like God's gonna forgive us anyways, right? You find yourself being conflicted as to like, oh, like, is he really a Christian, or like, I don't understand. Talking from experience, they will pull you away from God, because it will get to a point where, because you have deeply invested your time with this individual, you're going to start thinking about compromising your faith for this person. It's going to get to a point where, you know, deep in your heart, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is a sin, you know, deep in your heart, the more time you spend with him, the less time you spend with God. But then there's the other side to you where it's just like, but you love the attention that he gives you, you love how he treats you, you love how he makes you feel special and things of that sort. So you're thinking about these two things, and you're thinking, okay, but I could work with the two, I could try it, maybe, like, you know. And this is a dangerous game, because it will get to a point where you will find yourself, again, spending less time with God, the point where you'll start idolizing the person without actually realizing that you're idolizing the person. You'll be putting him above God, putting him up there whilst God is down here, and that's already a sin in itself, right? You're putting him above God. Now, anyone that's a genuine Christian, or someone that truly loves God and is truly trying, would never try to pull you away from God. If anything, he would want you to grow relationship with God. He would want to be that one person that helps you, you know, help you to grow with God. He would never want to be the person that leads you astray. No genuine Christian person would want to be the reason why you was led astray, right? Be wise about and just have like some sort of common sense and spirit of discernment, of course, right? Because it might be subtle, but it will lead you into a dangerous trap, right? You know, just watch how they are, watch how they're moving, watch how they're living their life. Do they live like that of someone that is a true Christian, right? Not to say that this person has to be perfect, but you may be tempted to like settle just to keep the peace, or settle just to have them around, or settle in hopes that maybe you can change the person, maybe you can convince them that, you know, their way of walking isn't it. The Bible teaches about fruits. It teaches about fruit, not labels. It teaches about fruits, right? In the book of Matthew 7 verse 16, it says, you can identify them by the fruit, that is, by the way they act. A good fruit can't produce bad fruits. Just as you can identify a tree by its fruit, you can also identify people by their action. If they are a Christian, but they are very much like, oh, you know, I can, you know, sleep around and do whatever and all of that stuff, when, you know, in the Bible it says that we should not, you know, fornicate is a sin. We should not have any sexual contact with anyone that's outside of marriage, right? Already, that's already a sign that they are not a true follower, right? So, you know, things of that sort. In the book of Titus 1 verse 16, it says, they claim to know God, but by their actions they deny him. So again, you know, you might be talking to this person about God, but then they try to like change the subject, or they might say, oh, you're looking too deep into it, it's never that serious. Or let's say, for example, you had a nightmare and you obviously trying to explain to him, like, I feel like this nightmare might have something to do with this, and they might say, oh no, I think you're looking too deep into it, you know, just relax, you're being a bit too dramatic, things of that sort, right? So again, they will claim to know God, but the question is, do they obey him? Do they follow him? Do they actually do what they need to be doing? In the book of 2 Timothy 3 verse 5, it says, having a form of godliness but denying its power, have nothing to do with such people. Those that having the form of godliness, they claim to know God, to serve him, but they are denying its power, right? Again, that's just them having one foot in and one foot out. It's like they want to be with God when it only benefits them, right? But at the end of the day, they don't really truly follow him, right? 1 John 2 verse 4. Whoever says I know him but does not do what he commands is a liar, and the truth is not in that person. So these are the red flags that you need to watch out for. They call themselves a Christian but do not actively pursue God. That's one thing. They compromise biblical values, so they might just pick and choose what works best for them. They might, you know, say, oh no, I can never, you know, murder, but you're out here, you know, full on, you know, having sex outside of wedlock. Make you feel guilty for wanting holiness. Only brings up God when it's convenient to them. So only brings up God when it's convenient to them. Again, like I mentioned, they only bring it up when they only bring God up when it benefits them. What are the healthy Christian relationship signs? And that is to share spiritual hunger, mutual desires for purity, regular prayer and worship, and conviction and accountability. Taking accountability, holding each other accountable as well. It might be a case where you might be doing something wrong and your partner sees something that you're doing which is not right, and you know, allowing convictions to take place in the relationship. Okay, having a regular prayer with that person, you know, if you guys, it shows like, oh, when you guys have like a regular prayer whilst you guys are dating, just imagine what's it going to be like when you guys are married. Like, now that you guys are living together, like the prayer is going to be on fire, right? So think of it as this, you have to see these signs very early on, and obviously if the signs are not there, then it's not going to be there when you guys get married. So these are also things that you need to look into. Is this person spiritually strong? Are the spirits awake, you know? Do they have the desires to stay pure in the relationship, you know, whilst they are with you? You know, they don't want to commit sin that, you know, sexual sin that doesn't please God. They don't want to do all these things, right? Do they set that boundaries, right? Sharing spiritual hunger with you, like they want to, you know, share that hunger with you, or you want to share hunger with them, and it's both mutual, right? So these are the things that you need to have, you know, look into when it comes to dating someone who says they are a Christian. Ask questions early on, see how they respond, see how they act, and if you feel like whatever they're doing does not align with what they say they believe in or who they believe in, then that's already an issue, and you have to tackle it. You have to address it very early on. And if that person doesn't seem to want to change or want to try and find, you know, do better, then I think that should be already a sign for you to exit that relationship for good. But don't confuse Christian label with a Christ-led life. Okay, those are two complete different things, and I think I have a video on that as well. A name without fruit is just a costume. You're not judgmental for wanting someone who believes the same faith as you or whose walk matches your walk, right? Sometimes what breaks your heart is what saves your soul. Yes, you're gonna have to deal with the heartbreak. Yes, you're gonna have to deal with grief, but it's only for a short period of time. It will go away. But think about your soul at the end of the day. Think about saving your soul. So now I have one last dilemma for today's video, and this dilemma is about marriage with a selfish Christian husband. Oof. Monica has always dreamed of a godly marriage. She prayed, waited, and eventually married Derek, a man who went to church, knew the word, and led worship. In the beginning, everything seemed beautiful, but over time, Derek changed. He expected Monica to do everything: manage the house, handle the finance, raise the kids, support his dreams, and still somehow never complained. When she asked for help and expressed emotional needs, he dismissed her. "You're overthinking," he'd say. He'd say things like, "I worked hard, I deserve to rest," but wouldn't recognize how exhausted Monica was too. He made decisions without consulting her. His needs always came first. Monica began to feel like a servant and not a wife. Even spiritually, he wouldn't pray with her. When she suggested devotional or counseling, he'd say, "I'm good. You're the one with the problem here." Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's a disrespect. That's a violation. Sorry. Let's get back to the story. She felt invisible, unheard, alone, and even while sleeping next to someone. Monica wrestled with guilt. Do I leave? Do I endure this? is this what Christian wives is supposed to do? Or very good, valid questions. Now, this story isn't just about a difficult husband, okay? This is about hidden pains that Monica had to endure throughout her marriage. Do you know what's funny? I read these stories and this story really hits home for me, personally. And yeah, like, I understand how frustrating, how someone could feel frustrated in a marriage and not getting the help and the support that you need from the partner, someone that you're supposed to be married to, or someone that's supposed to be your partner, your support system, right? And then when people would see, they would see like, oh, you guys look so perfect, like you guys look like you have it all together. Little do they know that behind closed doors is like the complete different opposite. They don't see what these couples or what this marriage entails. I don't know if that's the right word, but what the marriage actually is like behind closed doors. I understand what it feels like to, you know, feel trapped, like you have to endure, especially when children are involved. You know, marriage isn't supposed to be a one-sided covenant. It's a two-way street. You two have to come together in agreement, and you have to work alongside together. Marriage can and will never work when the relationship is one-sided, because one person is always going to be miserable and always going to be the one that's going to, you know, suffer through it, whilst the other one is just, you know, sitting there, no care in the world, doing their own thing and thinking that their best is their best. I know for a fact that there are so many people, especially within my community, there are so many people that are in a one-sided relationship and they have had to, you know, just deal with it, really, right? And it can completely destroy you. It can completely destroy you spiritually. It really can. It can ruin your life, guys, like, honestly. And this is why I always advise anyone, please, please, please be sure that you know this person that you are planning to, this person who you intend to marry in the future, right? Please be sure. Sorry guys, there's like literally something like itching my, this bit here is like itching me like crazy and it's really bugging me now. But anyways, yeah, but like I always advise people, be sure, like, see if there's like red flags, red signs, try to avoid them and just leave the relationship if you can, or just cut it off very early on, rather than just, you know, brushing off, ignoring the signs and just keep going with the flow because, you know, your emotions have been involved now and, you know, things of that sort. The last thing you want is to get married into this relationship thinking that it's gonna get better, and it never usually does. In most cases, like, the way you see this person whilst they're in a relationship with you, it only enhances once you get married to them, especially if they are very toxic, very manipulative, very lazy, very neglectful. That character, that behavior only gets worse when you get married, because at this point they know they can't lose you because you're basically trapped to them, right, kind of thing. So again, you know, see the red flags, try to avoid it, and if you're still unsure, this is when I would say invite the Holy Spirit to lead you, and also ask God and to be like, God, if this relationship is not the one, then God, please remove this individual out of my life, or please try to do something that will break this relationship off, or something along the lines of that, right? He will definitely come through for you 100%. In the book of Ephesians 5 verse 25, it says, husband, love your wife just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So any man that loves his wife, anyone that reflects that love, the kind of love that, you know, the love that Jesus shows us, is expected of a man to show the same love to his wife. So if you're with someone that doesn't show you love, then that's gonna cause an issue in itself, right? You know, being with someone that doesn't care about how you're feeling, or you might be sick and they're telling you, oh, you know, go and clean, or you might have just, you know, you just gave birth and he's like, okay, yeah, all right, it's been a day now, why aren't you cooking for me yet? That's when you saying this man does not love you enough. All he cares about is himself. Now in the 1 Peter 3 verse 7, husband, in the same way be considerate as you live with your wife, and treat them with respect, for that nothing will hinder your prayers, right? So again, husband, treat your wife with respect, the same way you would want to be respected, the same way you would want people to treat you, or your wife to treat you. Treat your wife the same way, okay? And in the book of Philippians 2 verse 3, do nothing out of selfish ambitions, rather in humility value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others. This is a two-way street. You have to care for your partner, the partner has to care for you. You guys have to care for each other. If you're putting your interest above your partner, that's already an issue in itself. It shows that you're being inconsiderate. You don't care about how they feel. You don't care about, you know, for example, you making a huge life-changing decision without actually consulting to your partner. That's already an issue, because it just shows your partner that you don't care about their opinions. It's just about you, yourself, and yourself. As long as they comply, then that's it. Like, at the end of the day, your wife is your helper, she's your support system, so you have to treat each other with love and with respect. If there is something that you want to do, which is a life-changing decision, sit your wife down, you know, sit your partner down, be like, babe, I think I'm thinking of us doing this, I'm thinking of us doing that. Be considerate of the other partner. You can't just go around doing one thing and then expecting your partner to be okay with it. Like, that's not how things work. That's not how life works, right? Here's are the warnings of a selfish partner in a marriage. Dismisses emotional needs or turn every conversation around to himself. Avoids shared responsibilities at home or with children. Making decisions without involving the spouse. Shutting down spiritual intimacy, no prayer or no accountability. Uses scriptures to silence rather than to serve, right? So again, if they're using the scripture to shut you up, then that's already a sign of control. So you have to be very careful of that. You have to address that accordingly. So if you're with a partner that is doing these things, I think it's important to try to address it, obviously if it's safe to do so, because I know some people can be a little bit, you know. To the woman who is in this kind of marriage, your pain is valid. God doesn't look over your cries, the cries of his daughter. He never looks over it. You are not called to suffer in silence or to be spiritually drained for the sake of keeping the peace. In my culture, in my country where I'm from Congo, there's a phrase that says "Ganga mutema," which means close your heart. In other words, saying endure the pain, endure what you're dealing with, endure the suffering, endure the mistreatment. Ganga mutema. God does not want you to just endure, okay? He sees your heart, he knows what you're going through, he knows what you're dealing with, right? If your husband refuses to change or refuses correction, seek wise counsel. If you can just go, I'm not talking wise counsel as in go to friends. Don't go to friends, because not all friends may have your best interest in heart. Some may not relate, so they may not give you the best advice and things of that sort. But ask for a godly leader, and possibly a Christian therapist, someone who can help guide you together in terms of how to build the relationship. God can restore, but both hearts must surrender. So keep your partner in prayer, seek counseling, So that's the end of today's video. If this video has blessed your heart, has touched your heart, if this is something that you can relate to, please give me a like, share, comment and subscribe. Keep walking in faith, guys. Keep walking in faith. Stay rooted in the word of God. But so please do read your Bible, and remember that your story is still being written by the author of Without further ado, I'm going to leave you guys to it. You guys take care, stay blessed, and remember, Jesus really truly loves you. Don't keep waiting. I'll see you guys in my next dilemma. Mwah.